It was just ridiculous. It's not often that you're watching the WNBA or that I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, I've just never seen this before.
Breaking. The WNBA is on the brink. 200,000 fans and counting have announced a boycott. Sponsors are calling. League executives are panicked. And one message is echoing through every inbox and timeline: change or collapse. Tonight, we unpack how one leaked chat, one threatened suspension, and one emotional stand by players could cost the league everything.
As for what Engelbert is alleged to have said to Collier, if she actually suggested Caitlin Clark should be grateful for what she makes off the court, that's preposterous. Did you miss the Iowa years? Clark is the Tiger Woods tide that lifts all boats. And we know this show is proof. The highest rating we have ever had followed one of her games at Iowa. The WNBA has benefited from her presence more than the other way around, even though this year for Caitlin Clark was essentially lost to injury.
In this video, the private messages that leaked, the alleged order from league leadership to restrict star players' off-court activities, the fan uprising that turned into a verified boycott, the sponsors who threatened to pull funding, and how Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, Sophie, and Lexi found themselves at the center of a storm that could change women's basketball forever.
The high tide lifts all boats or whatever, basically. Like, if you buy into this, everybody is going to eat. Yet you had people fighting tooth and nail the entire season, not wanting it to be this way because other people weren't getting flowers, or she was getting too much attention, or she gets a special whistle, or I'm gonna check her off the ball here just because. And then her teammate cheers for her for throwing her on the ground. It didn't get better. And it's disappointing to me because it's not every player in the WNBA. And I'm sure that there are many players who are happy to have her in the league. And it's like, if it was my league and somebody was coming in and bringing millions of people, like, I would be excited about that, because you know what? That's a chance for me to impress millions of people who weren't watching before. And there's a lot of women in this league who don't have that kind of envy and jealousy and this kind of like secret club mentality that they only want certain people to be a.
To understand why 200,000 fans would pledge to boycott the WNBA, you have to understand the players involved. Caitlin Clark, the needle mover with record-breaking jersey sales and unprecedented viewership. Sophie and Lexi, rising forces with viral moments and loyal followings. And Angel Reese, a polarizing star whose electrifying college run and outspoken persona turn her into one of the league's most visible faces.
Holding the players back from saying, yes, we agreed to an extension. Let's try to iron out this deal so there is no lockout. Right? They'll still be able to negotiate if there's a lockout. However, players won't be able to head to the facility. They won't be able to get treatment. They won't be able to train with the team, with the staff. So there is some things to lose if there is a lockout. Sources: WNBA offers players extension on CBA deadline. The WNBA has offered players a 30-day extension to continue negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement, sources told ESPN on Tuesday. An extension before the current CBA expires Friday would allow both sides more time to negotiate a new deal.
Question which raises some sensitivities of rivalries between players. In the case of Angel Reese, who's just had to shut it down because of a wrist injury, Caitlin Clark, who's continuing to play. Rivalry that goes back to their college days, presumably, where I guess some trash talking entered in. But now it seems on some social media channels to have taken a darker turn, a more menacing turn, where race has been introduced into the conversation, where sexuality is sometimes introduced into the conversation. How do you try and stay ahead of that, try and tamp it down, or act as a league when two of your most visible players are involved, not personally, it would seem, but their fan bases are involved?
The Spark, a leaked players group chat. In those messages, league leadership allegedly warned top players, including Caitlin Clark, to limit outside activities like golf. The leak claims those warnings escalated into threats, suspensions, benching, even termination for non-compliance. Once private words hit public feeds, the reaction was immediate. Fans didn't just complain online, they organized. A grassroots movement swelled into an official boycott pledge for the 2026 season. Within hours, six-figure numbers were pledged. By the end of the day, organized lists and petitions claimed over 200,000 registered signups. Boycott's scare balance sheets. Within hours, several sponsor reps reportedly called League HQ. Emails and legal teams lit up. The message was blunt. If you lose Caitlin, you lose our investment. Sources describe emergency calls, chilled deals, and a boardroom where panic replaced PR spin. At the center of the headlines is a person, Angel Reese, a player who has been praised and pilloried in equal measure. Whether viewers love her or hate her, the human cost is real. Missed shots, public mockery, and now being dragged into a fight between fans and the league. Let's set a timeline. Day 1, anonymous leak of players' chat. Day 2, fan outrage and first petitions. Day 3, major sponsor outreach to League HQ. Day 4, official boycott claims surpasses 200,000. Day 5, Adam Silver's intervention and leaked senior staff meeting. The fury isn't only about a number or a chat. Fans cite a pattern, perceived double standards, preferential treatment, and decisions that seem tone-deaf to players' lives. Critics say the league prioritized optics over players' autonomy, and that alone is why a digital tantrum turned into a financial emergency. Faced with mounting pressure, the league released an official statement, promising a review, calling for calm, and announcing temporary pauses on disciplinary threats while an internal investigation starts. But the damage had already spread, and trust, once cracked, is slow to come back. Sponsors don't buy drama, they buy reach. A threatened boycott means fewer eyeballs, fewer sales, and lower ROI. Once brands freeze funds, renegotiations become ugly. For the WNBA, still growing its business model, this is an existential threat. For Angel Reese and other players, this crossroads is brutal. Brand value can rise or crater overnight. A single viral misstep or a leadership error can reframe a career. But there's also opportunity, a league-level reckoning that could redefine player protections, communication, and governance. This story is still unfolding. We'll be tracking official league announcements, sponsor moves, and player statements. If you want updates, subscribe and hit the bell. Tell us, do you stand with the players or with the league? Drop a comment. The best comments will be featured in our follow-up. At its core, this is about people who play a sport they love. When business, ego, and power meet, the human cost is rarely the first thing considered, but it's the one that lasts. We'll keep watching. We'll keep asking questions. Because women's basketball deserves better than a crisis that could have been avoided. The WNBA world was rocked by pure shock when news broke that Angel Reese, once considered the obvious frontrunner, officially lost the Reebok contract she believed was hers, only to watch Sophie Cunningham walk away with a massive, headline-stealing deal. For weeks, insiders claimed Reese and her camp were confident the negotiations were inches away from being finalized, especially after her rising fame, bold personality, and explosive media presence. But behind the scenes, Reebok was quietly reevaluating everything: performance metrics, brand fit, long-term marketability, locker room reputation, and public perception. And when they ran the numbers, Sophie emerged as the safer, more stable, and more profitable choice. The moment the announcement dropped, social media erupted. Fans were stunned, critics went wild, and Reese's supporters couldn't believe she had been overtaken by a player many assumed was far behind her in popularity. What made it even more painful was how quickly Sophie's contract became the talk of the sports world, with analysts praising her work ethic, consistent play, positive image, and the professionalism brands trust. Meanwhile, Angel Reese faced a wave of memes, hot takes, and commentary suggesting she had been humbled, outplayed, and overtaken in silence. The emotional weight on Reese's career is heavy. A lost endorsement means lost millions, lost exposure, and a major blow to her brand image just as she was trying to establish herself as a marketing powerhouse like Caitlin Clark. This shocking turn not only shifts the landscape of WNBA endorsements, but also exposes how fragile fame can be. One moment you're the face of the future, the next you're watching someone else sign the deal that was supposed to elevate your career to the next level. In a league where every contract matters and every headline shapes a player's identity, this moment will go down as one of the most painful and unexpected setbacks Angel Reese has faced, and one of the biggest surprise victories Sophie has ever earned.